Yeah, so we just finished the fit out on this Troopy. I think this is the nicest one we've done so far. I definitely think it's my favorite, especially with all the color coding of the bull bar. I think it turned out nice, and the rear bar on that, and just the way it all came together. I definitely think it's the nicest looking one I've personally seen. So let's jump into it and check it out. Yeah, so starting at the front, so we've got the Romver winch just inside the off-road animal bull bar. And then, yeah, this has been color-coded by the customer to match the vehicle, and I think, yeah, it looks pretty nice. And then on top of that, we've got the Lazer. These are the 7 inches. I think 7 inches is going to start becoming more and more popular as a lot of these manufacturers now are starting to try to hug the cars as much as possible. It's quite hard to fit 9-inch lights in there, so the 7s I think really suit it quite nicely. And they're the Elites with position lights, so I think it just fits it quite nicely, and then that way it's just not too big and then sticks out past the bull bar, so they're pretty nice. Then moving into the engine bay, so upgraded the start battery. We had to upgrade this so that the winch could run it. The specifications said that it needed a bigger battery, and the factory battery wasn't going to cut it, so that's why we've upgraded this to the Overlander, and then just put the two ups on there, just so that they've got extra spots for like the alternator and the winch cabling and so on. Located just at the front here, we've made a little custom bracket there just to be able to tuck away the winch isolator. So that's just a nice little spot. It gets tucked away, you don't really notice it. You only know it that it's there if you know about it. So yeah, it's a pretty nice little spot. Keeps it out of the engine bay and just keeps it a little bit cleaner. We've also done our upgraded alternator wiring kit with just the 250 amp mega fuse there, and then goes down to the brushless 250 amp rapid power alternator, which we're going to need for this one because, yeah, it's got quite a big DC-DC charge on it. It's got 2 Orion 50s that are going to be pulling quite a lot, plus the spotlights and everything else. So this one definitely needed to get the upgraded alternator. It's also got diff breathers over on the side there, just for the 2 diffs, and then also the transfer case. And then just over on this side, because it's the facelift, it's pretty difficult to fit underbonnet dual batteries in now. So the one benefit to that is now we've got a bit more space to put stuff like our fuses, so we didn't have to put any of the fuses on top of the battery. We're able to put this 10-way in here, and then that way it keeps all the fuses off the battery, so if you ever need to replace that, you haven't got to pull all this stuff off the battery to get the battery out. You just pull the 2 terminals off and it comes out straight away, and then we've got all the fuses here. So everything's labeled on top, so it just makes it super easy if you have any dramas, you know straight away where to go and what the problem is. And then tucked in just behind that, we just made a little bracket for all our relays for like our spotlights, our light bar as well, and then like the heated seats and that. So that just gets tucked into the quarter panel there. And same thing, it's just you don't really notice it unless it's there. And then everything's labeled as well, so you can see exactly what it's doing. It's also got a Safari snorkel fitted as well, just to give it a bit better airflow and just get a bit more sealant into the actual air box. And then that way you haven't got to worry about any water ingress going into the factory one. So that's a good upgrade. It's also quite a lot bigger, so you got a lot more airflow. So if you plan on tuning these and that, which obviously a lot of people do, you definitely want to try to improve that airflow coming in. So go to that bigger snorkel, definitely helps with that. Let's jump around to the side now and see what else we've done over there. Yeah, so jumping up onto the roof, so it's got a 390 watt high voltage panel up there. Just get a bit better efficiency. They are better than the 12 volt or 24 volt panels. Just having a higher voltage just allows them to pick the sun up quicker and also hold on to it longer throughout the day. So definitely worthwhile doing if you can find the space, because a lot of the time they're quite big panels. But if you've got the space to do it, it's definitely worth chucking on a high voltage panel for that extra efficiency. Also on the other side, it's just got the GME whip, and that's just on a fold down bracket. We've also got our stainless brackets that it mounts onto the actual roof conversion. They're designed for the Mogul roofs, but we decided for these ones that we just wanted to paint them sandy just to match the rest of the vehicle. So they do come stainless, you don't have to paint them, but we just thought it just looked a little bit nicer, color matching it to the rest of the vehicle, and I think it turned out pretty well. On this side, we've got another one that's just for the sand flag as well, so that way you can just chuck that up whenever he wants to use it. It is one of those breakdown poles, the 3 ones, so you don't need to have it on the fold down, because you just break it into 1 meter lengths and just store it in the back of the car. So that's why that one's not on the fold down bracket like the GME is. And then, yeah, like I mentioned before, they've got the Mogul roof conversion I personally think they're one of the nicest looking ones out there. Probably the nicest in my opinion. Where they cut the actual roof is so much lower. Probably noticed on like the LU cabs and the head spaces, they are cut quite a lot higher, which just means you get this big silicon seal go a whole way along the roof, where these ones tucked in underneath the seal, and it just looks a bit nicer, and all you can really see is just a little cut on this side, same on the other side, and it just looks a lot cleaner in my personal opinion. Obviously the downside to it is it doesn't pop up like the headspace does. Headspace, you get quite a lot more extra room in it. And the other thing to consider is the canvas isn't as dark as what the headspace one is. So yeah, if you plan on trying to sleep in, you're probably going to struggle in this one because it lets in quite a lot of light. But apart from that, I think looks wise, it's probably definitely the nicest looking one out there. And then we've also got the work lights just on each side here. They're just the Lazer utility 25s with the amber covers. It's got the left, the right, and then also the rear switch via the dash and also the back. So we put dual switching in this, but we can jump into that once we jump inside, how we've gone about doing that. But yeah, they're really nice work lights. They give a lot of spread in such a small footprint. And yeah, value for money, I definitely think you can't beat them. So they're definitely a great light there. Then we've also got the 270 awning. So this is the Destination 4x4, made in Australia. I think it's, yeah, definitely one of the nicest ones out there. Full freestanding. And then, yeah, they just have all these extendable poles that just allows you to be able to get this extra shade. So you just pull these little tabs down and then extend the poles out, and it just gives you a heap more surface area. So you can see you get a heap more shade on this one. So yeah, they're definitely a nice awning. Obviously being made in Australia, they are a little bit more on the expensive side, but the quality wise, you can't beat them. And I think, yeah, fitment wise, they're definitely great. So definitely a good option. These lights don't come with them. We've added them on, and then there's just a switch on the inside. So they're amber and white, all the dual color, and you just switch them on from the switch just inside here. So yeah, you can just change the modes. Now you got white, you both, and then back to amber, and then obviously you just turn them off or back on again. So just add those on, and just gives you that bit of extra light when you're out at camp. Then also below, pretty staple for most Troopies, is the Mission 4x4 Max Trax table. Yeah, this one's same as always, really. Just fold it down, and then yeah, you got a nice little table there. The one thing that we've done different on this, we've just done it on another Troopy as well, is we've just changed it, and we've started installing these outlets here. So that way, it's a nice flush mount one. It's still the dual pole, so it still suits for the vehicles, which it will turn the active and the neutral off. That's what the dual pole function is. You've got to have that on vehicles to meet the standards. But the benefit to these ones are they're quite flush mounted, and it allows you to be able to mount them behind Max Trax table. So now you can just fold that down. You want to do induction cooking or get your coffee machine out, you can just plug it straight in there. You haven't got to go into the back of the car. So that's definitely a nice feature that we're probably going to start doing more of, and just makes it more usable for people. And then just located next to that is just the utility vent. These are the arc earth ones, and then just housed in there is your air out, and then external pickup in, external pickup water coming out, and just another hot water outlet there. So he just wanted to have all those features there, and they're able to fit them all in there. So yeah, they're pretty nice to be able to have air and water on both sides of the vehicle. That way you haven't got to run around and with all hoses and have them go from side to side. You just unplug it, come around to this side, plug into here, do what you need to do, and then you can unplug it, do the same on the other side. So that's why that's got all that in that utility vent there. Also located just on the front passenger is just the spore glazing glass gull wing. So these are pretty nice, pretty popular now as well. The only downsides, they do come from over Europe, so they are a little bit expensive to import, but they are pretty nice. And then we've just made this little custom bracket. We've done it a few times now, just so that we can put the National Lunar Light on there, and then that way you're not just like double-sided taping it onto glass. Yeah, we just pick it up off the fixtures for the two gas struts, and then it just allows you to be able to mount National Lunar Light or any light really, because it's a super long bracket, and then that way it just saves you from just bloody double-sided taping onto the glass. Not really the most secure way to do it. So yeah, it's just a nice little bracket there as well. That's pretty much everything around the side here. We'll jump around the back and check that out. Yeah, so jump around to the back. So we just got the Lazer Lamp Utility 25 up there. Same deal as the two sides with the amber cover. And that's just the same thing, it's switch from the rear and also the dash, just on that dual switching. Then we've also got the National Lunar Light just up here. Same thing, that's pretty stock standard on most of our Troopy builds. And it's just on that little bracket for the rear bar door. Then he's also got a front runner, just a little table here. Same thing, these things are just pretty much personal preference. There's so many out on the market. It's whatever one kind of suits you. They all do pretty much similar things, really. It's just whatever like your preference is when it comes to looking wise, and they have slightly different functionality. So that's a nice little table there. And then yeah, on the actual interior itself, so we've just got 2 switches back here. He just wanted to be able to turn his pumps on from the back. So we've got dual switching for this pump here, so that's why it's on a momentary, and that's why it's got lit up like that. And then you can also turn it on and off from the dash as well. And then you got the other tank pump here, which isn't a momentary, that's just on the one switch there. Then yeah, you got a couple drawers, just one there for storage, and then same thing, a little cup holder over there to be able to store stuff. And then located on the passenger side, we've got the dual 10 amp GPO, and then just located in here is the dual induction cooktop as well. So that can then just get plugged straight in to that power point there, and then you got your induction cooktop there ready to go. So that's pretty nice and handy feature to have there. We've also relocated the rear view mirror camera. So this was originally mounted on the passenger barn door, but obviously now that he's fitted that rear bar, you couldn't see anything. So we had a couple options of where we could put it. The ideal place was to chuck it up in there because it's tucked away, you can't really see it. Obviously the only concern we had was maybe the window tint might affect it, but it's turned out okay. The window tint doesn't really affect it that much. And yeah, same deal as always, really. You don't really know about it unless someone points it out to you. So it just tucks it away, and now we can actually use it. That's pretty much everything around here. We'll jump around to the driver's side and check that out. Yeah, so over on the driver's side, we've got another utility 25 up there, same as the others. Got the amber cover, and then also the dual switching, so I turn on from the dash or the rear. Then we've also got the double ensuite just here, same as the 270 awning. It's destination 4x4, and it has the same little features. You just pop that down and you're able to extend them out just to get a bit more room, so that's pretty nice. Also just in there in the gull wing, we've just got our mixer for the hot water. We've got our shower outlet. We've also got the switch for the pump as well to be able to turn it on and off. And then we've also got the same as the other gull wing, the National Lunar Light on the bracket. And then also housed in there is the 15 amp inlet. So that way it's just tucked in there. Same thing, you don't really notice it from the outside. It's just, yeah, nice little feature, and it is waterproof as well, so it is able to go in a wettish area. So that's just a nice little place to put that. Yeah, so jumping inside, so we just got a couple outlets on either side here, just so that he can plug his Scirocco fans in, and then we'll just put these little magnets on the end of it there, so he's just able just to mount it wherever it suits him once he's set up. And then it's just got a bit of a lead on it, so that way he can move it around and then put it basically wherever it suits him. And yeah, it's got a pretty strong magnet, so you haven't got to worry about that moving around. And then also same again, it's got a couple USBs either side, just to be able to charge your phone and that. So that way when he's laying down, he's able to just plug it in there. Don't have to worry about running all the way to the front here to be able to plug into these power points. Then located onto here, just on the Tour Boy, is just the Touch 50 Victron screen. And then you'll be able to, same deal, be able to view everything in there, all your AC loads, DC loads, yeah, your AC charging, your DC-DC charging, and then of course your solar. And then you're able to control the inverter by turning it on and off here at the screen. And then you can see exactly what your battery's doing as well. Located just under that, that is just for the dual switching, like the rear ones. So you've got your left, rear, right work lights, so you're able to turn them on and off from in here. And then if you wanted to, you can turn them on and off from the dash as well. Either location will work, whether you want to turn them off here and then on there, or vice versa, they'll both work. So yeah, just makes it super easy that you don't have to worry about having to turn it on here, jumping into the cab, or now I've got to come back to the back to turn it off, and then just turn it back off inside the cab. So it just makes it a bit more simpler. Couple 10 amp GPOs here. You just want a couple of them just to be able to charge all these accessories. So that's why we've just got 4 of them in total there, 2 10 amps. And then located under here, same as always really, the Duetto 10 litre hot water unit. Got a power point under there, and then he's also got water filtration under there as well with another water pump. So that's all housed just underneath there. And then underneath this compartment here is his fridge freezer. So that way that's just tucked away, and then you can just lift the lid up to be able to get access to it. Yeah, so just located just inside here, we've just got the 15 litre Roadie Bushman fridge. We just had to make a custom bracket and just remove one of the panels underneath, make a new bracket, and then it's just able to sit straight on top of that. So yeah, that's pretty nice. We had another fridge in here for drinks or small snacks, and that way you haven't got to worry about trying to get into the back to your fridge there. Then located on the driver's side, right hand there is just a dual USB, so you can charge your phone and anything else you like to charge there. It just makes it nice and convenient. You haven't got to worry about coming all the way over to the head unit or the dash here to be able to plug your phone in. So it's located in the dash here. It's just a little extra switch panel we've made because it is the facelift model. There is no solutions out on the market, so we just 3D printed our own one and then just painted it black just to suit the rest of the vehicle. And then it just allowed us to be able to put whatever switches we needed in there because you are only limited to 6 small squares in there. That's obviously not enough. And then we had these round switches that we needed to put in because it does have the Schillmans, which have heated seats. So we just made this and it just allowed us to put the 2 switches in either side there for the passenger and driver, and then just small squares to be able to suit the rest of our switches that we needed. So that's pretty nice to be able to do that because, yeah, like I said before, you're pretty limited to switches now on these new facelifts, and that's pretty much most vehicles now. So I think that's going to become more of a prominent thing in the market now that most manufacturers seem to be going away from adding extra switches in. So we're going to have to come up with solutions like that. So it's pretty nice to be able to 3D print something like that. And then just located up here, we've got more of the switches into the factory positions because we did run out here because we got the 12 volt for the Duetto on the back, then your 3 work lights, and then your compressor. Then you've also got one for the light bar, so we do have a light bar just located inside the grille on the actual bull bar there. So that's the switch for that. That's your switch for your driving lights. And then you've got your little GME insert there. And then that was already there from the previous person that's installed this head unit. So then that just goes straight to there, and then the rest are factory. He also does have the JMac upgraded diff, and then also the suspension as well. So that was already pre-installed there and took up that spot. Hence why we had to make something else to go underneath because there was no other place that we could really chuck them. Then located just up on the dash, you've got the Garmin Overlander. Same deal, it's tied into the rest of the vehicle with that sandy type color on it. It looks pretty nice. When you see it from in front of the dash, it looks pretty good from the outside, just having that sandy color with the rest of the vehicle, and just matched it pretty nice. So this has all your HEMA maps on it. You can also get your VRM for all your Victron gear on here as well. And then if you had, say, like a power switch or any other Garmin products that can do dual switching, you could put all that on there, same as your head unit, but we're just going with the manual switches for this one. Don't have any of the Garmin switching, but that is a feature you can add into it if you do have an Overlander. We've also got located on the key is the key fob, to be able to do the remote switching as well. So he's really got 3 ways of switching. He's got the remote for his work lights there, or he's got on the dash, or he's got at the back. So there's just 3 different ways. The only thing is that one does need to be turned on and off using that. So if you turn it on with the remote switching, you do have to turn it off with that. But apart from that, these 2 dual switching will work independently, and you can turn them on and off at either location. So only that one you can't do it. And then just jumping behind the seats, so behind the passenger side here, we've got the 3 kVA Victron MultiPlus. That handles all your AC requirements. That's a AC charging of 120 amps, and then also all your AC inverting as well. So you can get obviously up to 3 kVA on that bad boy. And yeah, it's a pretty nice feature because it handles everything for you. You haven't got to think about anything. As soon as you plug into shore power, it'll take that for you, and then it'll send it to wherever it needs to, whether it's to your appliances or to start charging the battery, or both, depending on what you're asking to pull out that inverter at the time. So that's why I think it's just a must-have if you're trying to go off-grid and you need AC. There's nothing better on the market in our personal opinion. That's why we always fit these 3 kVA MultiPluses to our builds. Then located behind the driver's seat there is just the Egon DC hub. That one's actually the dual, because we've got 2 Orion DC-DCs fitted, 50 amps charge each, give us 100 in total. And to be able to get that, we just had to upgrade to the dual there. Otherwise, yeah, the single couldn't handle that amount of power coming into it. So we just upgraded that. And then located in behind that cabinet there is just the 2 200 Amptron batteries, and then all your stock standard Victron gear to make everything work. So that's your Cerbo, your 500 amp shunt, and then your MPPTs, one for the fixed solar, one for your portable solar, and then yeah, everything just housed in there, tucked away, out the way, and you don't have to worry about it. Yeah, so located just next to the fridge, and then the DC hub is just your 2 RCDs there. So same as always, you got one for the incoming power for your shore. So it'll come from your shore power into the RCD, comes out of that, goes to your MultiPlus, and then your MultiPlus will send power out to the other RCD, and then goes from there to all your GPOs. So yeah, to meet all the standards, you got to have those two, one for the incoming and then one for all your outgoing. So that's why we've got the 2 RCDs there. Yeah, so that's everything on this one. I think it's definitely by far my favorite one. I think looks wise, I've never seen a better looking Troopy in my personal opinion. It all flows pretty well and looks good. Probably the only concern I personally would have on it is I'm not sure how this bar work's going to look once it gets a few scratches in it, but I guess you could say that about any coloured bull bar, whether it's black or colour coded. So probably won't really affect the way it looks, but only time will tell on that one. But yeah, if you're after any more information or would like to get in contact with us, you can just head to our website and you can get in contact with us there. We'll catch you in the next
acharné, je suis porté.